These, the earliest colonists of Wales, have left behind them the great stone monuments where they buried their dead. And in Anglesey, Carnarvon and Pembrokeshire, there are more of these great stone prehistoric monuments than in any part of England. Early in the Bronze Age, great stones were laboriously transported over 200 miles, from Preseli in Pembrokeshire to Stonehenge in Wiltshire, to add some special virtue to that most remarkable prehistoric temple in all Europe. Why the builders of Stonehenge in Wiltshire did this is one of the greatest of our archaeological mysteries. Wales has always been a land of bards and preachers, nurtured in the land of mountains and storm-swept coasts, where, in the hexameters of your poet Longfellow, the sea fogs pitch their tents and mists from the mighty Atlantic. The Welsh people love their mountains, Snowdon and Cadair, Plinlimmon and the Brecon Beacons, and everywhere the Welsh, like the psalmist, look up to the hills from whence cometh their strength. How came St. David to be our patron saint of all the many who claimed that title in that shadowy age when the protecting Roman legions were withdrawn and the Britons were left to fend for themselves? Dewi Sant, as we call him, was born in Pembrokeshire in the year 462 A.D. His grandfather was Prince Ceredig, a man who gave his name to the present county of Cardiganshire. Now, Ceredig's father was Cynefin, a Celtic chieftain from Northumbria, or South Scotland. He was an ally of the Roman authorities beyond the wall, who was sent by them to North Wales to drive out the Irish raiders who had seized Anglesey in the dark years when the Roman Empire was tottering. So David was of the blood and lineage of the royal house of Gwynedd, for Cynefin is the ancestor of all the Welsh princes of Wales down to Llywelyn. There were other Welsh preachers, but when, during Wales' struggle for independence from the Norman kings in the 12th century, Wales sought to have an archbishop of her own, free from the jurisdiction of Canterbury, they naturally turned to St. David, who was the only one of our native Welsh saints admitted to the calendar of the saints of the Roman Church. Wales always has been a country with its own personality and its own pride, and it has something to be proud of. It gave to the throne of Britain its most illustrious dynasty of kings and queens, the Tudors. For Henry VII was the grandson of a small country farmstead holder of Anglesey. It gave Britain perhaps its greatest architect, Inigo Jones. It gave Britain the father of English landscape painting before Turner, Richard Wilson, who was born at Penygroes in Montgomeryshire. It gave England her Prime Minister in the Great War, Lloyd George, still living. But perhaps its greatest pride is in its many sons and daughters who've gone all over the world and made good, and not least in the United States of America. Your Chief Justice of your famed Supreme Court today is Charles Evans Hughes, of Welsh descent. And in American history, Thomas Jefferson was proud of his Welsh origin. Elihu Yale came from Denbighshire. Roger Williams founded Rhode Island. Welshmen came with William Penn and founded the Welsh tract to Pennsylvania. Everywhere, from Utica to Wisconsin, Minnesota to Oregon, are former descendants of Welsh sheep and dairy farmers, many of them originally from the mountain sheeplands near my own home in North Wales.